All right, our next is I think Photoshop 17 that we're ready for, and it's about adjustment layers. And if you're not at school, you'll have to do it on Photopea.com. But we can make that work. We can still learn about adjustment layers, even doing it here. All right, so what you're going to need here is a photo. And you can go get one. You can go open a tab and do a Google image search and go find a photo and save a photo. All it has to be is school appropriate. In fact, you're going to need three because I want you to try out three different adjustment layers, and which ones you do are going to be up to you. So once you have some photos saved on Photopea, here's how it works. You go open from computer. If you're working on your Chromebook, then this way it'll look on your Google Drive, and I've got it looking into a folder that I have kind of all set up for this. And so I am going to, let's see, I want this one called soccer. All right, so I'm going to open this one first. Boom. And there it is. Okay, I might, can I control mine to zoom on that? Yeah, I will. All right, so it's just an image of a soccer player, right? There we go. Now, to get started with an adjustment layer does this. It's a special layer that you add in Photoshop to, surprise, surprise, adjust the image. That's why it's called an adjustment layer. Now, there's a lot of ways to adjust the image. So here we go. Down at the bottom, you could do it this way. You can go layer, new adjustment layer. That works, right? See all those possibilities right there. Or on the layer panel, there is a button that looks like a circle that is half filled and half empty. And so you can click that as well. And it pops up with a bunch of options for you. And I'm not going to be showing all of these options. Don't be afraid to explore and just kind of go look. Um, anyway, I'm going to do a curves adjustment on this. You don't have to do the same thing as me. Get in there and have some fun, but I'm going to do a curves adjustment. Now, here's the first thing I want you to see about adjustments. Adjustments can be very subtle. They don't have to be very dramatic, right? I can take this. Here's how a curves adjustment works. I can take this line here and bend it. And do you see as I bend that line, do you see what's happening to the picture? Photographers do this all the time. They'll have a picture and they'll say, I just want to lighten it up a little bit. So they'll use a curves adjustment and just lighten it up some. Or if I bend it the other way, if I take this line and bend it down, you see how it's kind of darkening, especially the background, but the soccer player in the middle kind of looks, he's kind of popping out. So that would just be a minor adjustment, right? And that's okay. If that's what you want to do, you just make a minor adjustment. Totally fine to do that, right? Or you could get wild with it. I could go up here and grab the other end of this line and bend it down like this. And oh my goodness, this is just getting absolutely crazy now. And I could shape that curve and wow. Now, and see that my point on this is that adjustments can be very, like I said, very minor, just a little bit of an adjustment, or you can go like off the hizzle, off the deep end here, because this adjustment is crazy. But that's where it's up to you, right? You kind of do whatever you want. When you get one done, when you have, you got to do three of these today because I want some variety. I want you to get in there and play and get some variety going. So this one's done. So I'm going to say file and I'd say save as PSD. And it'll save, again, if you're doing it on your Chromebook, it'll just save it on your Google Drive. Okay. Now, so I'm just going to close that. That's already saved, so I'm just going to close that. And let's get another, we'll say open from computer. I told you you're going to need three, right? All right, so I am going to go get, is this what I want? No, that is not what I want. Open from computer. I want Captain America. I want to show you something else with this one. So I've got Captain, this image, I found it on the internet, right? And I'm going to add an adjustment layer, which remember you could do with this button at the bottom of the layers panel that looks like a circle that's half filled and half not, or you could do layer, new adjustment layer, and you could go that way. I'm going to do a hue and saturation adjustment. Boom. On hue and saturation, there's a lot of things you could do. All kinds of things you could do. Don't be afraid to play around, like what happens if I colorize this and I play around with these sliders. Play with it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the saturation slider all the way down like that. See what happened to the image? Look at the image of Captain America. It's not color anymore. It's just a black and white image. So on Photopea, if I want that panel to kind of get out of the way, I can go click here where it says Pro, which means properties, and I can just click that. Now here's the thing I want you to catch. You might remember that layer masking is a thing. Well, whenever you add an adjustment layer right over here, and I'm going to click on this, right over here, it automatically gets a layer mask. Now, what do we know about layer mask? Well, here's what we know about layer mask. If you take a paintbrush and you paint with black paint, I'm going to make my brush bigger, it will hide or cover, right? I don't know if you remember that, but if you paint with black on a layer mask, it will hide or cover. Now, what have I done to this image of Captain America? I've adjusted it so it looks black and white. I made an adjustment. So here's the thing. If I come along on that hue and saturation layer right there and I paint with black, what am I hiding? I'm not hiding the photo. I'm hiding the adjustment. Oh, well, look at that. So that means I could come along here and make just any part of this photo that I want. I could make it back to its kind of original color, and I'm just going to do a quick job of this here. I'm not being terribly careful. I could just paint along here and make just part of it back to its original color by painting with black on the layer mask of the adjustment layer. Because what am I doing again? I'm hiding the adjustment that I made. I made an adjustment a moment ago, which was to make the color or make the image black and white, but on this certain part of it I'm hiding that adjustment, and so that comes back to being its normal color. And look at that. I don't know if you think that's cool or not, but I kind of think it's cool. All right, so I'm going to say that's remember you have to do three examples of this. And so what I'm showing you here is once you add an adjustment layer, you could, if you wish, click on the layer mask box right here, paint with a black paintbrush, and selectively hide the adjustment that you made. Oh, all right. Anyway, I'm going to go File and Save as PSD, and that one will be saved. And again, if you're doing it on your Chromebook, it'll be saved on your Google Drive. I'm going to close that image. I'm done with that one. I have one more to go. So I'm going to open from computer, and I am going to get this dance dude here. All right, so there he is. That's what it looks like to begin with. Now, I have another little idea or trick that I want to throw in here. So I'm going to come along here, and I'm going to go to the button for a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to do a threshold. All right, now with threshold, you see what has happened? That's turned that into, that's not really what you would call a grayscale image. That's black and white. There is nothing but black and white in that image now. There's not even any gray. And I'm going to take the slider for the threshold, and if I push it this way, it adds more white to it. See what that did? Or if I take it this way, it adds more black to it. You see what that did? So what I would do with a threshold adjustment is just kind of dial it in to the level that I'm happy with. All right, let's say I kind of like it right about there. That's not very far from where it was in the first place. Maybe I like it right about there. Okay, cool. Well, now here's the trick. Is there any rule that says that you are limited to one adjustment per picture? No, there's not such a rule. So I could come back down here to the button and I could say, let's throw on a gradient map, shall we? And maybe I want to switch up the gradient, and then maybe I want to change on that gradient map. Maybe I want to change the blend mode. Look at that. And so, and I could lower the opacity if I wanted to. So you have to kind of bring back some things that you know about Photoshop. So on that gradient map layer, I'm playing around with the blend mode. What would something like hard mix do? Ooh, makes it kind of, see, that was kind of And on the gradient map, I could play around with different gradients, right? And play around with different. Ooh, soft light. That's not good. That's not good. And screen opacities. I'm not getting as much gradient as I thought I might get there. That would be more fun if I had more gradient. But anywho, but you see the kind of thing that's happening here. And my point here is that if you'll look over here on my layer panel, I didn't just stop with one adjustment. Right, I did two, and you could keep going. You could say, I'm going to adjust it again, and my goodness, there's all. What if I did levels, and I don't know what's even going to happen here. So I could kind of darken that. I don't know if you like that or not. Right, the thing here is play. Get in there and play. Experiment. All right, so now I'm up to 3 adjustments on this. I've got a threshold adjustment, a gradient map adjustment, and a levels adjustment. So that's possible, is what I'm showing you. You can have a whole bunch of adjustments on the same photo if you wish. And by the way, these could all be turned off. I could get back to the original photo because there it is, sitting right there on the background layer. Boom, boom, boom. Turn those layers on. Look at that. It's called non-destructive editing. Cool. All right, so I'm going to do save as PSD on that one. And now, guess what? I've done 3. And I've jumped in there and I've played around and I've done some adjustment layers. I have 3 of them. I could go to Google Classroom and attach all 3 of those images. Yay. Done. Done with assignment. Off you go.